Hi, my name is Ivy Starnes, and I'm a gaited horse trainer from Fort Worth, Texas. Today we're talking about the Foxtrot. What it is, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, how to get it, what it's not. This, in my opinion, is one of the most misunderstood gaits. Well, maybe not the most, because many people think their horse is doing a running walk, but they're either pacing or doing a saddle rack. So that's probably the most misunderstood gait, is the running walk. I do want to point out I have a video that talks about all the gaits, including the Foxtrot, already available for free. And of course, I go into it more in depth in my training DVDs. Talking about the Foxtrot, because I want to get this right, I'm actually going to read to you from the Missouri Foxtrotter Association's website. Here's what they say about the Foxtrot. The Foxtrot is a diagonal gait. This is, I'm adding in, opposed to lateral, which is the pacey gait. Diagonal means trotty. The Foxtrot is a diagonal gait, which means the legs on the same side move in opposite directions. So with a pacey horse, I'm interjecting, you watch the legs on one side and they swing forward and back together. That's pacey or lateral. Diagonal, you watch the opposites. So you would watch, say, the front right and the back left, or the front left and back right. That would be the diagonal pairs. The rear feet slide into cap or beyond the tracks made by the front feet, making the ride very smooth. I have to disagree with this. The Foxtrot can be smooth, but the smoothest Foxtrot is the one that is the closest to a saddle rack, and actually not much of a Foxtrot. Oh well. Continuing, a foxtrotting horse, I also disagree with this. A foxtrotting horse looks like he is walking in front and trotting in back. Now, that's actually key right there. Their quote, a foxtrotting horse looks like he's walking in front and trotting in back. And I actually really like their statement of a foxtrotting horse looks like he is walking in front and trotting in back, because that is not in effect what's happening. But this website didn't say this is what's happening. They said this is what it looks like. And I am totally fine if someone uses that definition to say that that's what the gait looks like, because I'm all for making things easier to understand. But what many people confuse is not that that's what the gait looks like, but that is what the gait is. So going back to it, a lot of people I've heard and read on many forums and groups, they say the Foxtrot is, not looks like, is the horse walking in front and trotting in back. And in my opinion, which is why you're watching this video, that is incorrect. That is not what is happening, and I'm going to try to show you that using some videos. I've got a bunch of slow motion videos here to go into it in depth. The Foxtrot is a diagonal gait, it's correct, but it's broken. So we have the trot, which is a 2-beat gait. Clop, 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 clop. Okay, go watch Quarter Horse and the horse is trotting. A Foxtrot or diagonal gait or a broken trot is where instead of landing at the same time, the back foot lands a split second before the front foot lands on the diagonal pair. So again, watching that back left, front right, or back right, front left. And the back foot on the diagonal lands the front foot, I said that wrong. The front foot lands just before the back. And that is a broken trot when they don't land at exactly the same time. That is important to note. However, not every broken trot is a Foxtrot, because what is not included in the description is that it must have a head nod for it to be a Foxtrot. Otherwise, it's a broken trot. And we're not going to get too much into the mechanics, but I'm going to show you examples of horses with a perfect Foxtrot and horses that don't necessarily have a broken trot without the head nod. That's very important to be aware of, especially when you're going to be calling it what it actually is. All right, so we have, this first video is of this horse is a foxtrotting crazy horse. But one of the things is it's fairly smooth because the horse is very close to a saddle rack. And we'll talk about what a saddle rack is shortly. But this is a Foxtrot. You'll notice it's not perfectly even because it's slightly trotty. The more trotty he gets, then I lift my reins. Good. Okay, so here it is in slow motion. Here you can see that right now it's almost perfectly even, but you can see that head nod coming through. And my reins should probably have been a little bit looser to make sure I completely don't bump them in the mouth, but you can see there's a head nod, the diagonals move, and they land almost together, but the front foot on the diagonal lands before the back. And it's almost smooth, it's almost evenly timed, like a saddle rack, but not quite, making this a foxtrot. And then in a few strides, he's about to get a little bit trottier, almost totally two-beat right here. And what happens is I lift my reins to get him out of that trot and get it even smoother. So we watch, and starting right here, I believe, he starts to get just a little bit more diagonal. And again, notice the reins are loose. The foxtrot, he's foxtrotting on a loose rein. Right there, the legs, the diagonals land almost together. The front foot lands just barely a split second. And again, if we were to go back and listen, which I'll do that in just a sec, you're gonna hear how it changes and sounds almost like a trot until I lift the head up and then he smooths back out. All right, let's go back and listen to that again. Notice the change. Did you catch that change there? So he was foxtrotting on a loose rein, moved a little bit toward the trot, and it sounded more like clop, 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 clop. And then I lifted my reins and he smoothed right back out and I gave him that loose rein. And one of the things I do want to talk about briefly is what it feels like. So to me, the foxtrot, generally speaking, is not the smoothest gait that a horse can do. So people will disagree with me, and that's okay. The ones I've ridden that have foxtrotted are fine. They're comfortable to ride, way better than a trot. But the saddle rack, the more evenly timed the footfalls get, the smoother it gets. And if you get to a saddle rack, it's now no longer a foxtrot. But a foxtrot feels to me like the back of the saddle lifts up every stride. That's what it feels like to me, is they're really lifting their back and lifting the back end, which kind of pushes the saddle up and forward. And that's kind of what it feels like to me when they're foxtrotting. And again, a correct foxtrot must have the head nod. If you're just tuning in to watch, you can go back and watch the early stuff where I talk more about the foxtrotter and the definition. And so feel free, once this video is done, you can go back and watch again. Okay, so this is another foxtrot. This is just in slow motion, so you won't hear this. This is another mare. Look at that head nod. That is a foxtrot. But again, it's very, very smooth. If you watch me, I'm hardly bouncing. That's because if we count her timing of her feet, let's watch now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's almost perfectly even. And so it's very smooth. The closer it is to an even gait, the smoother it's going to be. And the closer it is to a trot or the clop clop, the little bit more rough it's going to be. It could still be a foxtrot and be very trotty and very uncomfortable to ride, and it still could technically be a foxtrot. It's just not very comfortable to ride. But you notice that we've got that head nod. We've got it on a snaffle. That horse is foxtrotting really, really well. Right there, she got a little bit trotty. Corrected that just a little bit. See, I'm pulling up, asking her to smooth out a little bit, and she does, and then I give her a looser rein. So again, there it is in slow motion. Keep in mind that it is not walking in front and trotting on back, but it may look like it, but that is not biomechanically what's happening. So please don't use that to say that's what's happening. You're welcome to say it's what it looks like, but please don't just tell people that's what is happening. I've got another example here, and you can hear the sound on this one. And this horse right there.
All right, there you go. Lean back. There you go.
Here you go. You can see that head nod very clearly, and it's a nice little foxtrot there. Very even. You can see a little bit of a rock. You see how the back of the saddle lifts up? And then she gets trotty. oh, it's a dead trot, and then I fix it by lifting the head up. I want to go back and just show you that. I want you to watch the saddle. The back of the saddle feels like to me like it's kind of lifting up or pushing me forward, which is typical, I have found, of the Foxtrot. And then she gets trotty, and that head nod goes completely away as soon as she starts trotting. So that's another thing. If you have a horse foxtrotting and you're not sure, although usually the trot's so bumpy. And there it is again. See that head nod? Loose rein. The reins don't have anything to do with the head nod or the gait. Here it is in slow motion. Very smooth and comfortable because the timing is very good. She has it almost perfectly even, but she has that very typical head nod. Definitely a foxtrot. I keep checking to see if there's any comments. So April says, that looks just like the gait my spotted saddle horse does. So smooth. Yeah, and it absolutely can be very smooth, but the closer it is to even or saddle rack, the smoother it is. Which, speaking of saddle rack, I have a couple more videos to show you, but let's take a look at the saddle rack. Now I'm going to play this, and it's going to have audio, and I think I talk over it a little bit. Let me make sure I have... Good. Okay, here we go. Girl. That's a little pacey. Yes. And you're listening it out for that even time. Good. That pucka pucka. Perfect. 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 Oh, it's so nice. All right, so that's the saddle rack. That's usually when I'm working with gaited horses, that's my goal, is to get the perfectly even timed. And there will be no head nod because it is not the flat walk, it is not the running walk, and it is not the foxtrot. So that's my goal. And if you watch, I'm not trying at all. So here is a little bit of a broken trot. Now, this horse has the teeniest, tiniest bit of head nod sometimes. Not as much as we've seen the other horses have, but I will point out there is a tiny bit, but it ends up being more trotty. So there's going to be the regular speed and then slow motion. I do not remember. That's very trotty right there. And I'm lifting my reins up, asking him to smooth out. And then right here, he does smooth out. Again, I'm looking for that saddle rack. And if he were to foxtrot smoothly, that would be fine. Here it is in very slow motion. Watch that diagonal pair. That front foot lands and then the back. So they swing forward together. And then right here, he starts to get really bouncy. Watch those legs almost, see how they land almost exactly at the same time? They didn't there, but this pair lands almost the same time. Here's the same horse, same day. We're just going to go through a few different shots of him. So when my hands are up, it usually means it's a little bit trotty. That's a little bit better now. There's an evenly timed, you see there's separation between the front and the back foot landing. There we go. But what I want to talk about is that this horse does more of a broken trot when he's not gaiting smoothly. And when he gaits smoothly, it's a nice saddle rack. Now there he starts to get a little bit trotty. I can start to see those legs, see how they swing forward together and they land almost at the same time. That's what I want to start correcting. Lifting up. And this is the very first day of training. And then right here, he smooths out and I slow down and stop and praise him. And you can see me release. And then I ask him to stop because he was gaiting better. And again, I'm looking for that saddle rack, but I'm trying not to be too much of a perfectionist. Sorry, if we watch as his foot moves, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see how they're swinging forward together. 1, 2, and those diagonals landed almost together. Becky said, tag somebody. Julie says, I love my Foxtrotter's gait, but he can get pacey at times. We're working on it. Yes, just because you have a Foxtrotter does not mean that they're going to foxtrot. They can just as likely pace or do the saddle rack. At a clinic in Virginia this year, I had a registered Tennessee walking horse and she was foxtrotting. Any breed can actually do the foxtrot. I forgot to say that early on, but any breed can foxtrot, and the foxtrotters don't necessarily foxtrot. Many of them are bred pacey for the show ring. There you go. I said it. Somebody's going to get on my back about that. Okay, and we'll watch this guy a little bit more, another video here. So here it is again. We're just watch those diagonals. And I'm just showing you this. It's kind of boring, but it can start to train you to watch the diagonals. So you're going to so I tell people to watch the pair closest to them. So I'm going to watch the front left and the back right. And I'm going to watch just those two legs and see if they land together or if there's good separation between the landing. And I'm going to ignore the other legs. I'm going to ignore everything else. So I'm watching for the separation. So the front foot lands, I'm watching this one here. When the front foot lands, how much time is there between the landing and the back foot landing? If there's a lot of time, then I know we're getting a nice gait. Let's see. I want to go back and watch this in real time so you can start to watch. So now we're going to watch this in regular speed. I get it. Here it is. Watch in regular speed. See if you can watch the same diagonal. And notice that they don't land at the same time. It's a lot harder when it's regular speed, but start practicing. Watch just two legs and see how much separation there is. Does that make sense? That's how I watch with pacey horses and trotty horses, along with listening, because we know we're listening for that pucka, pucka, pucka. Okay. April says, thank you for the slow-mo of the feet. That helps me a lot. Hard for me to tell when I'm in the saddle. Yes. In the saddle, best thing to do is, again, if you don't ride hundreds of horses like I do, is to listen for that audio. Tina says, love the detailed explanation. I have an Icelandic, and sometimes I feel the Foxtrot and saddle rack are irrelevant to me because I can't totally translate. I know the footfall for Tolt and Foxtrot is the same. No, it's not. I'll get to that in just a sec. I just keep watching and learning. Eventually, I'll get it. Well, trust me, Tina, you're not alone. So many people think the same. So the Tolt is actually just like the saddle rack. There's no head nod, and it's an evenly timed 4-beat gait. So it's not a Foxtrot. Foxtrot has to have a head nod. Again, if you didn't watch the beginning, go back because I go through a detailed explanation. So the Tolt is a saddle rack. So all of my gaiting stuff does apply to you because it's all aiming for relaxation and a perfectly evenly timed gait, which is what the Tolt is. Just people that teach it with a high head. Julia says, my Foxtrotter is also pacey, frequently horribly rough trot. What signal does lifting up on the reins send to the horse? Julia, I would like you to watch my trotty video because it answers that question. Lifting up is actually to lift up the head and get them to change and hold their back, but we only do it temporarily. So many people hear that and they think I'm riding with my reins tight. If we go back and watch this horse, pick any of them, the reins are loose. And I only lift up when I need to correct it. And that's really, really important for everyone to hear because not everybody, does that. Same thing with this guy, or this mare here, is my reins are loose. I'm not holding the horse in gait. The horse is doing the Foxtrot on their own. However, it's very normal for any breed to go between the pace and the trot. And I have a couple videos that I'm going to grab and show you, Julia, because you asked. Let me see YouTube. I have. Just grab those. And I will just share those on your comment. And if anybody has any comments, now's a good time to ask. I don't think I have any more videos to show you. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so here you go. Here's 2 videos about the trotty horse. And the second one is the horse that trots and paces. Because yes, it's very common. It's more common for us to get pacey horses, but it's just as common to get horses that trot and pace. So please watch these 2 videos. And the reason I reference people back to my videos is I want you to see the work I've already done. And so many new people are finding out about me. I'm having to keep repeating this, but I have almost hundreds of free videos that you can go back and watch and search for. So please do that, and please share my videos. That helps so much, is when people share the videos. So other people that may never have heard of me will learn these things. Again, just for clarification, the Foxtrot is a diagonal gait. It has to have a head nod. Sometimes horses just have a broken trot, which is also diagonal, but it doesn't include the head knot, and that is not the Foxtrot. All right, thank you. Tina says she watched from the beginning when the live is done. Great, that's excellent. Nobody else has commented right now. I'm gonna see if I have anything. I do love this horse. And I loved working with this horse because once we got the horse relaxed, the horse just started doing it. But now you can see, even though the Foxtrot's solid for, 30 steps, 30 feet, the horse will get trotty if you let the horse do whatever they want, which is one reason why gaited horses break gait so much, is they're allowed to break gait and people don't know about how to fix it. So if this horse had started pacing, I would have immediately asked for head down. And because the horse started trotting, I asked for head up, but as soon as the horse got smooth, I released the reins because the reins don't hold the horse in gait. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I love doing these videos for you. Tomorrow we're talking about trail etiquette, and if anybody has ideas, I will be posting about that, looking for suggestions. And I just made a new video about using treats. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share this video. You got it.